All right, welcome to the Events Committee Weekly. The date is June 30th. I will be your moderator. Christian will be taking notes. Feel free to add yourself to the attendees list. It's always nice to be able to look back and show that you were there. Your kids will want to know. So today on the agenda, right now we have 2 topics. Any other topics would love for people to add. Other than that, we're going to open with GitOps Con. And I think maybe Christian, you have something that you might want to share with the group. Red Hat. He's wondering what I'm talking about. Red Hat just signed up as our platinum sponsor for GitOps Con. So thank you, Red Hat, for taking that on. Maybe Aubrey, that was your update.
That's fine. I was waiting for Christian. It looks like he was having some trouble, but yes, we got it all signed off. I think just yesterday.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. We were having a lot of internal back and forth about like how we wanted to do it because we kind of felt like it was maybe pulling us in too many directions. So thanks for taking that on. Excited to have Red Hat as a big sponsor. There are a number of other sponsorship packages available. So I'll show really quick and then I can send a link. Oh, where did I put it? Oh, wait. Hang on, I lost it. There it is. All right, so for GitOps Con, there are more sponsorships available. So we do have a diamond sponsorship that's still available up for grabs. If somebody else wants it, that's a 30K sponsorship, and they'll put your name next to GitOps Con, sponsored by Red Hat and potentially somebody else if anybody wants it. Platinum sponsorship, which will give you some group mentions. What's the difference? You get a pop-up message in the event platform and you get some more passes. I don't see if there's any other difference. Oh, you get recognition during the opening session. And then you've got gold sponsorships, and then there are these diversity sponsorship is open. I think that we put in for the session recording, but lunch sponsor should still be open as well. Scott? Chair recognizes Scott.
Hey, do we have this available somewhere that's shareable?
Yes, I can email it to you.
Okay, cool. And I know that some of the questions about exactly how this is going to work is on our discussion topics for today, but I was just curious.
Or rather, why don't I put it in the events committee Slack?
Perfect. Thank you.
Let's see.
And so this only goes out to people who have already sponsored KubeCon, or is it open to anybody who sees the KubeCon sponsorship package? Do you guys know how that works?
I believe you have to be sponsoring KubeCon in order to do one of these.
Okay.
But feel free to like advertise this. I mean, I think that we would be thrilled to see a bunch more people jump in and sponsor this, because ultimately we feel like there's an opportunity to do GitOps Con bigger and better next year, and so the more people we get as we head into it, the better it'll be. So, the easier chance we'll have with that. Okay, I'm going to post the PDF in the GitOps events channel on Slack. And sponsorships are on page 16. So feel free to share with your teams, let people know what's out there. Love to get more sponsors for this event. and I know CodeFresh is going to do a couple. I know, Red Hat's obviously doing some stuff. Robert, are you raising your hand? Okay, just stretching. It's like maybe he's doing an analog hand raise.
Yeah, analog. I like that.
So that's sponsorships are there and now available. Obviously, I hope WeaveWorks will take advantage. And then, do we already have a GitOps mailing list going? Because we might want to send something out.
We don't have a dedicated one except for the right. It's funny, we're almost there, but we just put a prefix like WG-GitOps in brackets in front of the posts to the apps tag. Sorry, not the apps tag, my bad. Oh my goodness, how am I just I'm trying not to say SIG apps delivery, but the apps delivery tag mailing list. A little bit of a mouthful, but we have that description. We have the description of that on the how to get involved page on the GitOps working group too. For anyone else listening in and wondering why how I messed that one up.
Okay. The other thing to update on here probably is about the CFP for the event. And so I just wanted to share with you what that looks like right now. So the CNCF is going to send this out. And the CFP right now, there's this section that's kind of content, the overall theme. I was going to write a brief description here, and then I filled in a bunch of suggested topics. So this is if we feel like there's some other topics we want to accept. This is due today, and I think that they're planning to have it so that we can announce it by Tuesday next week, coming off the holiday. So if you want to take a second to read these and see if
And the doc that Dan is showing right here, I've linked it in the notes doc under CNCF GitOps planning doc. So if you have input, you can put it in directly to the doc, which is where
Cool.
like Lindsay and CNCF are collaborating with us.
Yeah, I need access to the doc, but I already requested that, so
Okay.
I don't know.
I
I don't know if everyone has access.
I think she's the owner, but Lindsay's the owner, but let me add you really quick.
I have added you, Christian.
You got him already? Okay.
There you go. Sweet.
Okay. Well, I'll fill this in at some point later, but if you have any comments or thoughts, feel free to throw them in here or ping me directly, because it does need to be done today. And then they're putting together the site, and they'll send out the CFP. I think as soon as the CFP is ready, we should send out a big message like, hey, GitOpsCon is happening, CFP is open, sponsorships are available, and then kind of just always promote those two things together, and then obviously like do it to your internal groups, but we really want to get end users. So I'm going to be thumping this pretty hard in the Argo community. Love to see some Flux representation in this GitOpsCon since we didn't have any in the last one. So if Scott, you want to go shout that in the Flux community, I think that would be good too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Wait, now, sorry, just to be clear about what to shout in the Flux community.
CFP that will be available next week.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like, hey, GitOpsCon is looking for speakers to talk about how they're implementing GitOps, how they're doing this, what tools they're using, all these kinds of things. So we'd love to have Flux community in here. We're gonna have an Argo community in there. Come and shout.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I had I purposely did not submit a CFP myself because we said we were going to specifically deprioritize people who are already speaking at KubeCon, which I was, and secondly, I think strangely assumed that there would be a flood of proposals that related to Flux as well. There just weren't. So yeah, I'll be promoting it across the board, but also for all the GitOps related projects. Yeah.
Do you I guess I was trying to think about getting the folks from the CD Foundation maybe involved, but I don't know how, other than the fact that just to email.
Yeah,
right.
share with them, get them
Yeah.
to share it too, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. The folks over there at the CD Foundation, we should probably I could probably send an email on that saying, hey, I guess once we get everything right, say, hey, the CFP is open. We would love for you guys to come participate, sort of thing.
That's a great idea. And Cornelia reached out to them before to try to integrate, you know what I mean, some of their speakers and people with GitOpsCon. I know it was a little too rushed on their end or you know, that part of it for other people to really get involved. But that's very cool. You know, it's nice that even in last minute it was like, oh, we have enough talks to do a GitOps summit. That's awesome. So that was very awesome. But like, but yeah, like now that we have more notice, it would be so great to integrate those two communities more. Maybe like you said, leveraging, or not leveraging them, but kindly requesting if they would leverage their community messaging too. Maybe the communities themselves can connect, like the end user communities can connect, and not only the speakers, you know, from both.
And to that point, they have already expressed an interest to participate, and specifically around the CFP portion. So whoever does outreach, it won't be like a cold outreach because they're already interested in supporting this event in conjunction with us.
Cool.
And then do we have promotion planned through the Twitter handle and everything? We can then retweet from our various companies.
That might be an action item.
Yeah, I think
Their
so.
like promotion plan.
Yeah, let's make an action item. I'll put my name on it, but I also want to put Sonia's name on it too, because she was just so good, I thought, at the tweet scheduling.
Yeah.
That I want to continue to learn from,
I like
her
it.
there.
Good. Yeah, and like I said, CFP should be available like Tuesday is what we were hearing back from the CNCF. So should be good to go.
I'm gonna send this to you, Scott, because I don't have access to the Twitter.
Thank you. Oh yeah. Yeah, and also if there are any of us on the events committee who we need other additional people to have access to Twitter, like let's just make an issue, or let me know, we'll make an issue, make it happen.
It's
an issue for transparency is what I mean. Yeah, it's the actual login is in Keybase. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but basically what we have right now is we have a communications team. It's not really a committee. It's just a group of people who are responsible for the different public faces, the public visibility channels for the group and for Open GitOps. So I just want to make sure that we stick with the transparency goal and just make an issue for it so that there's some tracking.
Yeah,
Sounds
right
great.
now you and I are the only ones in Keybase on the Twitter. But I think like Chris Short has access to it too, doesn't he?
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe.
he does.
Then I'll bug him then.
He does.
All right, cool.
Yeah, he's not on the what is Keybase team, right?
Yeah, the communications team in Keybase. That's right. Yeah, it's like it's WG. It's GitOps_WG.coms is the sub team. We have to make short names.
Okay. Cool. Good.
So
action
yeah,
item.
actually, Chris Short was added to that, and so was Sonia in a GitHub issue, just not to the Keybase team. So I'll reach out to them. Thanks for that reminder.
Okay. The other thing for GitOpsCon is just resourcing. So I wanted to check, Sarah, we were a little bit worried about your time because I know that you suddenly found yourself very overly committed in Q4. With the CNCF running it, do we need to ask for more help or are you feeling comfortable with it now? What do you think?
I feel 10 times more comfortable with CNCF leading. I think from a collaboration perspective, if everybody can, if there are areas where CNCF tags us in a doc and y'all have an opinion, case in point, like influencers in the community, in that one doc, it says who are people that we think, should be a part of that. I'm new to this community, so if y'all have an opinion, I think we should collaborate that way. But I believe that they're going to take the majority of the heavy lift when it comes to logistics. So to that end, I'm feeling much better now that they've come on board to lead this for us.
Okay.
Do we know yet, are they doing logistics both for in-person and virtual, or how is that part going to work?
Yeah, my understanding is that this is a hybrid event specifically because they're requiring vaccinations for in-person. So because of that, they're handling like the AV to do the live stream and that sort of thing.
Awesome.
What else were
Okay,
you
great.
thinking? Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, if you have any other ideas that we might be missing, I think we should add them to that doc that is linked here and I've shared with everybody, I think, at this point. And then once I believe there'll be like a kickoff call or like a bi-weekly with them. If that's the case, we can add in everybody, come if you have an opinion, you want to participate. But I think between all of us, we can execute this with their help.
Scott?
Hey, Sarah,
Yes.
would you mind replying to this issue? I don't need to talk about it in the meeting, but
Okay.
I filter the issues on communications, and because that's so essentially all of these ones are the
yes,
issues.
thank you for reminding me on this.
Teams, just for anyone else. Yeah, no problem. It just came up, and so I was about to make some issues, and then I realized I already did.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I will take care of this for you.
Cool.
So yeah, right now we've got Christian, Scott, and myself as the committee chairs, and then we've got Sarah, Sonia, and Aubrey as event leads. Is everybody comfortable with that as is right now?
Yeah,
Works for me.
Cool.
And then on the CFP committee, we've got myself, Scott, Leonardo, Cornelia, Chris, Henrik, who's from the Argo team. And then we can add some additional ones. So do we feel like there are some other names we need to add here right now?
Let me just take a quick peek. I want to make sure to not leave someone. I thought there were other people representing other boards.
Well, originally we also had like Shlomo, but I think he had to step away from the group because he got busy with work. But I think that's it. I'm not sure. I mean, we don't have to make like this decision now, right? We can munch on this. I don't think we're missing anyone.
What about Robert?
Oh, that's right.
I'm just trying to make sure that actually it's Robert. Robert's on the call. Right?
Yeah. Feel free to add me to that. Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh,
This is a good dog.
What's your dog's name? I don't want to derail too much. But I'm just curious.
Zelda, actually. Her name is Zelda.
What does it say? Zelda. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so I think that's the only person missing from the list from the what we had for GitOps Con last time, from the team list anyway, in the GitHub teams list. I wonder, Sarah, you were asking, you mentioned the CDCon folks. Did anyone volunteer to want to be involved at all in the CFP committee, like, on that level, or were they just
So the note we got from Lindsay over at CNCF is that they were interested in helping or supporting the event wherever needed. That particular comment was tagged in the CFP committee section. If
Okay.
we're looking for like specific areas or names, I can ping Lindsay back in the doc or just via Slack and just ask her, hey, what does this look like? Or who was it? Or how do we engage? Right? Would that be a good
Okay, so
next step?
that does sound good. Should we just now in this list make a note of like CD Foundation rep and then just say we're in process?
TBD, yeah. Let me
yeah.
let me ping her really quick.
Cool. I just want to make sure not to leave. You know, we would have loved to have done that last time, and now if we have lead time, we might as well like really try.
Yeah.
And I think that the idea was that you know, they could be involved in, you know, in fact, these don't have to stay as separate organizations. That can be crossover members. You know, like they can join the GitOps working group and help out with things or represent those interests too.
Yeah, is there an action item there, do you think?
Yes.
That kind of reminds me too. I've been watching and following just like some of the different kind of products coming into the market. So like HashiCorp just launched Waypoint, Ambassador Labs just launched something. And I kind of think in the spirit of collaboration, it would be good to reach out to those companies and say, hey, we're running these events. Like, do you want to sponsor these? Do you want to be involved? Like, let's see if you want to get involved. So I think that's an action item that I'm happy to take, to reach out to HashiCorp and Ambassador Labs, and then anybody else that that you see out there. You know, I'm kind of the mind very much so right now that the bigger we make this, the better it is, and the more companies involved, the better it is. I think the pie can get very, very, very large, and we'd all be very happy, you know, with our participation. Any objections to that line of thinking?
Seems good. The only thing is, if you want me to help it, you know, unless you know someone specifically in HashiCorp, then, you know, being an ambassador, I have the community team pretty close.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If yeah, please engage them and send them my way.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be
can also
great.
add to the list. Should we, you know, Dan, I know that you have often at times represented interests related to Argo CD. Do you think we ought to also invite the Intuit folks to someone to be more directly involved?
Yeah, so I invited Henrik, who's one of the
okay.
maintainers there. Because I think that
Got it.
Alexander and Jesse like probably wouldn't want to review CFPs. I think they'd just send Henrik in and be happy with it. But yeah, I'll loop them in and keep them aware of what's going on.
That sounds awesome. What do you think about sponsorship side of things too? We could always offline that, but I know we're talking about sponsorship packages. Do you think it would be worth connecting with them? Oh,
For sponsorship? Yeah,
I'm asking with.
I don't know if Intuit would sponsor though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm asking with a question mark because I know that Intuit has supported that project, or runs the project, but but I hadn't seen any sponsorship from them in open source stuff otherwise, and I was just curious if maybe they would be like, this sounds cool. We can look or talk. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so well, I'll take an action item in the meantime to just do some outreach and go from there. I think for GitOpsCon, that probably covers everything. Anything else we need to cover with GitOpsCon before we move on?
You had mentioned something in the chat. about the cross. Do we talk? Sorry, because I had to take a call.
You're good.
Half emergency. You said in the Slack channel, you said there was a something about. I'm rereading it here, just kind of loud. About us running the entire event versus help from the CNCF.
Yeah. Well, you made the decision on that already
Okay, cool.
because you gave the CNCF 30 grand. So
Yeah.
Nice, cool.
the decision's been made.
That was
I was thinking about maybe us trying to run GitOpsCon ourselves, which is like it's like a 5K sponsorship, and they list it and they'll take registrations for you. But then you just have to find your own venue and run your own whole own thing. And there are some advantages to that because we could offer a lot more sponsorship packages. Though looking at the sponsorship packages that they've given us, I don't know, Sarah, if you feel this way, but I was really disappointed for a while. But now that I'm seeing all the packages there, I'm like, oh, these
So,
actually
yeah,
are
it's
some of the
better
packages
than-
we were asking for that she was saying no to,
Yeah.
but they put it in the thing anyway. So now we got it. So okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Cool.
It wasn't, and they
Alright.
weren't too crazy priced either. So I was
No,
pleased
they
with
were
that.
reasonable.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we asked for like, hey, can we have like a sponsorship level where people can do
Like
a
5-6
giveaway?
grand. Yeah.
And she was like, no, we don't do anything like that. And then in the package, it's like, there it is. You can just do it. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, we'll just follow what the paper says.
Yeah, and it might just be that, I know a lot has been up in the air with post-COVID and whether or not there's going to be a hybrid event or it's all going to be remote if there's another spike or whatever. So I'm imagining they've probably had some, I'm not trying to justify anyone else's communication because I don't know the answer, but I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt, guessing.
Oh,
that
sure.
there
No,
may
and I
have
don't
been
want to throw
Mhm.
anybody in the bus. It's fine. It's worked out now.
I'm just saying, I
Yeah.
didn't think you were, but I'm just guessing there may have been some things up in the air, and it's really good to hear that it's worked out in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually just a straw poll here. Like, I think all of you have seen that the CNCF is requiring everybody to provide proof of vaccination in order to attend the event.
Mhm.
Do you guys think we're of a split mind internally? I think that we're going to have a really big physical presence, and some of the team thinks that we're not going to have a big physical presence. What's the straw poll here? What are you thinking?
I personally think there's going to be a big presence, especially since it's going to be in LA. We're going to get, I think, a lot of people from the Bay Area. I would imagine we're going to get a large people from the Bay Area because it'll just be in state. It'll be easier, and then people from the West Coast, right? So like Seattle, Portland, at some of those big tech hubs. I think we're going to get. I think it's going to be bigger than I think. Than we anticipate. I think it's going to be a lot of people in person. The only people I think that'll be remote are, unfortunately, people from like outside the country, I would think. And then people who are wary of showing vaccination records, I guess, would be another one. So, but I do think since it's in LA, I think we're going to have a big presence from the Bay Area. I mean, I'm just assuming. Right, that's my gut feeling.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well,
my straw poll is I agree. It's probably, well, I'm just going to crystal ball it right now and say I think it's going to be bigger because people are just, as long as it can remain safe and as long as people feel assured that it can be as safe as possible, like the vaccination cards, while it may accidentally exclude some people who didn't have access to vaccination, it will, for the most part, help the people feel safe who are on the fence. And, we just want to hang out with each other as well. So, you can get all the rest of it through virtually, but you cannot get the FaceTime, the face-to-face. So I'm hoping, anyway.
Yeah, I was at a bar last week, and it was really weird to hang out with my friends at the bar. So it was just there's people that are still starving for that interaction. It felt great.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. Well,
we'll see.
Awesome. Anything else with GitOpsCon we need to cover today?
No, I think that's good
Okay.
for now.
Then I'm gonna say we're gonna move on to the next topic, and then feel free to interrupt me as that triggers the last remaining thought that we have to get out. The next topic that we have is the Open GitOps website. So there's currently there's a GitHub issue about this to collect feedback on the design. And I believe that Scott, you pointed out that it was purple and that the branding was actually that it should be blue is what our official branding was. So I was kind of, so I got that feedback, and I don't know, there's maybe some others. But at the same time, and somebody mentioned they didn't love the buttons design, which like, I kind of think the priority right now is let's get a website up and then we can go and make changes and stuff. But just to share with you, it's actually sitting up right now, just in a Netlify for, oh, it's already been changed to blue. Look at that. Wasn't even watching.
Okay, cool. I linked to the, oh,
Just
can we update that issue with that link?
oh, nice.
Or actually, should I update the issue with that link, Dan, or should we just hang on that for a moment?
So I think we should just make a PR at this point to just say,
Yeah.
hey, let's put this website up, and then we should make changes. So like right now, like we're missing some quotes. I was gonna go and fill in some stuff that I was just gonna go Google around and do the copy editing and make the pull request. GitOps principles. I think right now it's like, do we have any showstoppers? Because like we don't have a website, so like a bad website's probably better than no website, but I might be alone in that. So this is the next point of discussion.
I feel pretty strongly that we should, oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I thought you were finished with that sentence, my bad.
I am.
I feel fairly strongly that we should make the principles reflect all the work that we put into this as a group, because it's one of the major things that we have to show for what we've done so far. And I think we have the issue to simplify that first sentence already, or the PR rather. Let's go ahead and commit to that. We have a principles meeting directly after this. Yeah, we have the principles meeting directly after this, but I would say, one good way to show the need for it is to just write it as the version 0.1.0 is, and it'll just simply say the principle of blah, 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 and just see it on the website and say, well, folks, this is what it looks like right now,
Yeah.
Let's reduce that a little bit.
So first of all, I completely agree. Sarah put in the chat, I love this website, or just like the way it looks. I also like the buttons, how they animate when you scroll over them. That's actually pretty clever. This is why I'm not a designer. I would have thought of that. Anyway, I just want to echo what Scott was saying. I think the only quote unquote issue I have this page is the principles doesn't necessarily line up with what we have on GitHub and what we committed.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think you're right, Dan. That needs to play out however it plays out. But that's like, I guess, the only thing. One. And then a follow-up question is, and this may not be pertinent to this committee, but maybe I'll open an issue. Do we have, so we decided like on colors and like logos and all of that, but I think we still need to eventually create like a press kit to where we actually have the hex number, right? It's like, hey, if you're using, OpenShift the Open GitOps, so many opens in my world. Open GitOps, here's a hex, here's the certified logos, things like that. Maybe would have avoided some of this, but that's just me picking nits at this point. In general, I like it, and in general, I think we should, as soon as Okay, so let me preface this. Yeah, I agree with you, Dan. We should have something better than nothing, but I do want to reflect
The principles, I agree, is
the
a
principle, yeah.
showstopper. Yeah.
And I think once that gets ironed out, we should just, publish and then MVP it, right? Like this is the minimal viable product, and then we'll
Yeah.
just iterate.
Okay, so I'll update the copy here to reflect that. And I think in terms of member companies, do we have a larger list of companies we can put in here at this point? Is there a place where people have been publicly declared?
We have so two things. In fact, I linked to the SVG for the style guide just to quickly respond to Christian. The README is a little bit nicer there. So it has the color. So right before I respond to what you said, Dan, it has the color hashes and stuff. But I do personally think that the person who worked on this design really nailed it with finding some other colors that look really great together. So I would say we should make a PR to change that style guide and just update it to match.
Yeah, to include these colors. Yeah.
Yeah, to match this because it looks.
Yeah, because I like the yellow.
We've never used it before. Yeah, we've never used it before, and so it was kind of guesswork by the original logo designer. So my vote anyway is like, let's do it because it looks boss, And
Agree.
then okay, so yeah, okay. So secondly, Dan, about the list of companies, all we have right now is the interested parties list. Or sorry, not all we have, but we have two things. We have the inside of the charter. We have wait, I believe it's inside the charter. My mistake. Maybe it's inside the README or the governance, perhaps, or just give me a moment here.
Parties? Oh,
Somewhere we have a list of the people who. Oh, never mind. No, I'm sorry. On the README, we have the timeline of the initial companies who founded the GitOps working group or who started it. But then yes, we have the interested parties document that we added in the charter PR that lists the people who at least have said, hey, we're interested. It doesn't mean necessarily that, hey, we're super involved in the GitOps working group, or that there has been sustained involvement yet, or that we've even defined what it means to be a member as an organization besides this. That's pretty much what we have.
Do you think, so this says interested parties, this obviously says members. I
Yeah.
guess we're probably not okay to just stick every company into this members list.
That's a really interesting question. I don't know the answer to that.
I change it to say member companies and interested parties, and then we open a pull request that says we want to change this to be members.
The most important thing I think is that we get approval from each company to list their logo to show their logos, and to have some sort of an issue there, whether it's in a pull request with all of them or whether they're separate, that just says, this is what my involvement means, and yes, I want to be listed as a member company or supporting company.
I wonder, well, I would say my instinct is that if we go and say, hey, we need your explicit approval to put your logo here, that'll trigger everybody to have very long, awkward conversations.
Yep.
And that if we just put it there, that no one will care.
That's
and then somebody may contact us and say, please do this. Okay.
Yeah, it's like ask for forgiveness, not for permission.
I mean, I don't mean to be like the annoying stick in the mud, you know what I mean? Like on this one, I just feel that there's some kind of protocol that we have to follow, and we probably, at least for things like this, I mean, I just know when I worked in enterprise, it was like a big deal for some companies. Like people get, it could mess up their jobs, because they're like, hey, you said you signed up for the interested parties things, that was fine, but now they have our logo, et cetera. So I just think it's important to do that. But maybe in the meantime, we could say, because we don't want to just like make the section anemic unnecessarily, right? Maybe in the meantime, we could say, we could reach out to people to just ask, right? And then we could add a link to say, see all interested parties or whatever, and just link right to this document or something like that. What do
Yeah,
you
we
think?
could,
I have a question. What's the if you go back to the site, Dan, the community tab that you have there. So one, what do we want to show here in terms of members, right? Versus, so like what's the differentiating factor, and I'm being almost purposely obtuse, of member companies versus interested parties, right? Like what's that, and is it important to show interested members versus member companies?
well, I think the goal is we want to show all of the companies that have some involvement, not only because we want to give them credit, but also because it gives more legitimacy to open GitOps as a standard. It's like, oh, look, there's 75 companies that are involved in this. It's, you know, that's significant. This isn't something I can ignore. And right now, looking at it, like, I feel like there's a lot of authority on the page, because it's like, well, Amazon, Azure, Red Hat, GitHub, and of course, the largest of the orgs, CodeFresh and Weaveworks, you know, everybody's going to look at this and be like, okay, yeah, there's like some real people behind this. And I definitely want people to be looking here and thinking like, wait, how do we get our logo there? Like, we want to be involved. So
here's something cheesy, something dumb. What about like the last tile on this page saying your logo here, how to get involved, that someone could click on, right? So
It's funny you should mention that. We do have oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I was wondering about that maybe third or fourth tab, Dan, which is like, could we say something like our growing ecosystem and then drop all those logos there? You know what I mean? And just do like,
I like
hey, we're like winning up here with these guys, but we're growing down here. And that doesn't indicate, and to me, that doesn't indicate commitment. It just says like, it indicates interest, right? Like, and it's growing this way. And then you get some of that logo.
Literally label it interested parties.
Something like that. I mean, like growing, interested, or something like that. And then just put it all there.
I love our growing ecosystem. I'm just gonna my gut response. I love that, because
I think about that from the partner perspective. Like, my day job is not events. Well, my day job is events, but as partners, right? And I just think about like, how do you gain that? Like, Dan and team always talk about like thought leadership and domain authority, and I'm like, you do it with a growing partner ecosystem, man. So
yeah, or just partners, or whatever you think sounds great around that all. Yeah, because I think your point stands, that make a less specific claim, because folks are already want to be involved and have already signed up for their support. The details are forthcoming, but we can still show that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Lazy consensus, be it enacted. I'll make the edit and as put it as part of the PR that we open. Awesome.
Whose idea was it to have that animated button, by the way? Because that really is a good idea.
I love the button.
Thiago's idea.
Oh, really?
That's great.
That's
That's
who
good.
did the design. I was like, hey, when are you gonna get this website done? We need it. And he said, I'm working on an animation. And I was like, what
There we go.
are you talking about? Like, we didn't get the website up yesterday. He's like, no.
Trust me, this animation. Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna reach out to some folks at Weaveworks for some quotes on GitOps, because I know that there have been a growing list of those over the years, and we can look together as a team and see which ones feel like they represent our, like all of our interests and they sound good together, maybe.
Yep, sounds great.
Okay. Is anyone taking notes, by the way?
Yeah, I've been dropping it a little bit. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you mind putting an action item for me, and I will do the item?
Yeah. Action item.
You're the best.
Scott. Oh, for Weaveworks quotes, right?
Or just, I'm going to ask Weaveworks for general quotes on GitOps. Not necessarily from Weaveworks, but from other people as well, because since that's something, that it's been in the works for a long time, I know that the marketing team and everyone has collected things like that. There are some funny ones like, anyway, someone said that GitOps is the worst name for the best process.
It's purposely bad.
Right. You know, we could probably find something good. Yeah. Oh, Dan, there's one other point that we mentioned in the last meeting that is about the website, is that there's a concern that I raised that it seems like others echoed, and I don't want to make this website any harder than it has to be. But the concern is getting out of sync with our documents that we already have potentially getting out of sync with the documents we already have in the different repos. Is there do you think that it would be a big lift to work together on some quick automation to slurp in those documents, you know, in whatever metadata files we need, we can add somewhere that's canonical. So it's not just like the website's all the website content, and then everything else that should be on the website, hopefully they stay in sync.
Yeah, so I think you're right that we should do that. I wouldn't want to put it before just getting the website up. So I think if I just manually did it and threw it up, and then we could work on some automation to make that happen automatically.
Okay, who's working on, is this a React project?
Built in Hugo, I believe.
Okay, cool.
Gatsby, built in Gatsby.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
The other thing, Dan, is if just like in terms of housekeeping, since this is in your repo right now, before we move this stuff over to the website's repo, can we work together to make sure that all the CNCF boxes are ticked, you know, to make sure that like the DCO is all there and the license is all up to date and all that crap?
Yeah, so I was gonna open a PR because we have a repo for the website in Open GitOps. So I was gonna open a PR there, and then we can just go.
We can work it out there. Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good. I was thinking that I might go ahead, because it was my action item from last week, to make I think an events
format
project, events repo, so that we could have, you know, events, something that stand on their own. Even though the website is probably the biggest vehicle for it, there will probably be, you know, other things that use that. So what I was going to do with that, and also probably the website, is what we've done with these other repos, where we set our licenses and, you know, just the basic stuff before then. Do you want me to do that before your PR, so you have something to actually pull against?
Yeah, I'll just get it all happening in tandem. It's great.
Sounds good. Okay, sounds good. We can collaborate on that offline then.
Perfect. Fantastic.
Also, I don't want to override anyone. I just want to say this looks awesome, and I really feel appreciative of all the effort you put into this, Dan, and Sarah and the other people that have worked on the design. I want to know who the person is so I can like shout out their name directly. I just don't know.
It wasn't me, but I appreciate the shout out.
That's right. I'll take it nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, like, do they have a GitHub username and all that stuff?
Yeah, this is their Git username.
Oh, great. Okay, awesome. Do you mind pasting the link to your repo in our chat?
Yeah, I'm gonna post the one, my copy of it, because his is private.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
And I'll be making the PR and stuff. So, but yeah, I'll throw it in the.
That sounds, never mind. We can do that whenever it's. I just want to give credit to, or not credit, but I just want to like send a bunch of clap emojis to that person, because maybe you can just pass it on for us for now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He did a great job, and he did all the design and the coding work. Awesome. Oh, he does have it as open. Okay, never mind.
It is Open GitOps.
Oh, it's, yeah, open dash. Oh, wait a second. Can you click on that real quick? Oh, never mind. Okay.
You thought he owned the Open GitOps org?
We're still looking for the person to do that and working with GitHub to correct that. Anyway, all good. Thanks.
It is really easy to take back that if there is nothing there.
Yeah, Chris is helping us with that internally.
We had the same thing for crayon. Someone took crayon, which is an English word, so yeah, a long time ago, and we just went like, "Hey, can we have that?" And they go, "Yeah." Yeah, sure. Here you go. So it is pretty easy.
Cool. All right. Well, looking at the agenda, those were the 2 items that we had. Anything else we need to bring up? We've got 9 minutes left in case we have any other discussion we want to do.
No, except for I just wanted to tell you timing, Dan. Basically after the GitOps Guide to the Galaxy talk, which if the website was up, we should put that on the events list. But it's not yet. So after that is after I'm done with hanging out with Christian and Chris there, I want to wait till after that to get the repo stuff set up, if that's okay timing for you. It's just one day. It's tomorrow.
I'm gonna open the PR whenever I can, and then whenever we're not gonna merge it until everybody feels comfortable with it. So if we get all the licensing stuff worked out, that's great.
Okay.
There was one action item that we brought up that I guess no one took. I don't mind taking it unless someone else has better contact about talking to the whoever from the CD Foundation to ask them if they wanted to. Was that you, Sarah? Okay.
Yeah, so I put a note, I updated the doc, but I Slacked Lindsay
Okay.
while we were still talking. She's
Cool.
going to connect to us with that person. So we're just waiting for that connection point from Lindsay. As soon as we have it,
Perfect.
we'll go from there.
Cool.
Great. All right. So just assignments for next week. I think I might be traveling next week.
What?
Yes, I'll be out of the office next week, so I won't be here. So any volunteers to moderate?
See here, I will volunteer.
All right, Christian.
Great, and I'll volunteer to take notes.
Excellent. Well, you can have
Right.
7 minutes back. There is a principals meeting in 7 minutes for anybody that's doing double duty. I will see you there. And otherwise, thanks everyone. We'll see you in the Slacks.
Thanks,
All right.
Dan.
Cheers.
care.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Good job.